First story I want to talk about today is the Ukraine scandal. So for a year now or so, a lot of conservatives, Republicans, and some progressives have been talking about Joe Biden's relationship with Ukraine, his son sitting on some board, doing some sort of deal. You could watch, I'm sure Fox has talked about it 100 times. There's a lot of progressive channels that have really explained it, or you could look it up on a lot of conservative news sources. The whole Ukraine Biden scandal was a thing for a year. And it's kind of funny because every single time that they do something, and this includes a lot of older Democrats and Republicans alike, they try to use projection tactics to blame it on Trump. Everybody knows, from Bernie Sanders progressives to all conservatives, that the Uranium One scandal was covered by the New York Times as far as a deal that the United States did to sell uranium to Russia, and then they talked about a certain politician who received hundreds of millions of dollars in contributions to their foundation while that was going on. This is not my thought. I'm not a whistleblower. This is the New York Times. They reported this. There's documentaries on it. So this was 3 years ago, and then all of a sudden Trump gets into power. They want to start a proxy war with Russia and Syria, and now all of a sudden Trump colluded with Russia, even though, like Bob Marley said, when you point the finger at others, make sure that your hands are clean. And the people that always point the fingers, whether it's racist, sexist, xenophobic, colluding with foreign countries, they always have the dirtiest hands. Their hands are oozing with disgust. So it's where did this Ukraine thing with Trump, it's actually kind of funny. It's almost, I'm really debating, are they purposely losing to Republicans? Are they throwing the towel to make Trump a leader forever? It's they act like they don't want that, but then they do the dumbest stuff. It's no, it's so weird. It's very bizarre. But so I guess although there's all this literal real stuff with Biden and his family that people are talking about, look into that if you'd like. I'm not even going to go into it. Now they're saying Trump colluded with Ukraine because a whistleblower said that he said something along the lines of asking them for information on a phone call, and Trump is literally saying, I'll release the entire transcript of the phone call tomorrow. He's I don't care. I didn't say anything on they won't even wait. They won't even wait for the transcript. They're just ramming impeachment down your throat. And this is what I want to say. I want to give credit to people I disagree with, Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald, Kyle Kalinske, to name a few. They're left-leaning progressives who are further left than Democrats, and I don't agree with their domestic policies, but they did a really good job explaining to people over the last 2 years how the whole Russia collusion thing was fake. Kyle Kalinske, Jimmy Dore, Glenn Greenwald, they couldn't be further left. They said, I don't like Trump, I don't like conservatives, but the Russia collusion thing is a total lie based on what they're trying to hide that they did and blaming it on other people. There's no evidence for it. They're completely making it up. Their entire foundation was a lie that they put into the media to then give to the FISA courts to get permission to spy on Trump, to then try to set Trump up with a dossier, the Steele dossier, which was literally created by a British spy. So you have Democrats colluding with British spies. They're colluding with foreign nations to then do this whole set people up with Russia meetings. They're colluding with Russia to try to they're the ones colluding with all the countries. Even left-leaning progressives knew that. So after a year and a half of Muller report, you literally had Democrats getting Muller tattoos. It's one of the worst tattoos I've ever seen. They're getting Muller tattoos because the television told them that Mueller's going to bring down President Trump. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like the President of the United States, but you got to stop listening to these lies, because what you'll find out is 2 years in the future, all of a sudden you've gotten a tattoo, you're waiting for this big collusion that never happened, and then they let you down. It's really sad, actually, because in order to beat Trump, you need someone better. If you look at the Democratic candidates, the only one that I personally think has a chance of beating him would probably be Tulsi Gabbard, but they hate her. It's they're allergic to winning. They're allergic to moderation. They think everything that's honest is a right-wing talking point. Delaney says, this is what your health care bill says. They said, that's a right-wing talking point. That's not a right-wing talking point, Elizabeth Warren. It's written in the bill that you pushed. It's a fact. Anyway, it's disappointment if you... So this Ukraine thing, it's literally even dumber than the Russia collusion one, if possible. They're trying to impeach him before they even get the transcript, which probably nothing happened, which anything that they ever found that Trump might have possibly done with Ukraine, they've done times 20. Look into Biden's family. I'm sure you could find more. It's the same with Obama on a hot mic. You can search Obama hot mic Russia. After a meeting, he literally whispers, after the election, tell Vladimir I'll have more flexibility. Imagine if Trump did that. Trump does 1/50th of that, and they try to say colluded with Ukraine. You don't have to like Trump, but they're trying to impeach him a year before the election. Just get a good candidate. Go with the candidate who could win. Once again, honestly, they're cheating Bernie Sanders. I don't even like the guy. I think he's awful. But I know there's some Bernie supporters here. They're cheating him just like they did last time. They're like, look at Elizabeth Warren. No, Bernie, Elizabeth Warren. Why does he keep going back to the people that keep punching him in the face? It doesn't even make sense. It's like they don't like winning. They don't like Tulsi Gabbard. Marianne Williamson calls out the pharmacy industry. They kick her out of the debates. Tulsi actually is likable and stands up for the Constitution. Sometimes they hate her. Bernie Sanders actually has some support. They hate him. And it's like they suck at everything. It's so embarrassing. It's actually legitimately hilarious how they're trying to impeach Trump off a phone call that he's about to release the transcripts of, when their own politicians and candidates literally did what they're accusing Trump of doing. It's so awful, because there are actual things with the president. There's red flags. There are things that people could legitimately make a point against President Trump and say, listen, this was what I would do better. This is how Trump is being a little sketchy. They don't do that. They literally make the dumbest arguments and run you in circles. That's why I was on to talk about climate change. There is environmental pollution. There is air pollution. There is water pollution. There is, mainly in the cities where they think they're environmentalists, they get you to, like a cat with a laser pointer, like I said on Laura, to be like, ooh, 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 and then you don't even get to the truth. It's so embarrassing. It's really sad. So if you're a Democrat or a liberal or a progressive watching this, you don't have to like Trump. You don't have to believe in conservative values, but if you don't have any self-accountability and look at the current Democratic Party and media system, they're literally awful. It's like they do the opposite. If you do the opposite of what they say, you'll be right 70% of the time. It's really sad.